It's not been a week with pretty sights. Trains burning, vehicles attacked and destroyed, youth pelting stones and getting lathi charged, entire cities being brought to a standstill as our youth ran right across different parts of the country. On paper, India is the richest nation on earth today, if it is agreed that human resource is the biggest resource of the 21st century. In which case, we are sitting on the humongous wealth of 440 million millennials, larger than the total populations of different countries put together. Why then are youth so disillusioned, even as they're being wooed as Agniveers, or heroes of fire, by the nation? For years, the world has looked at India's massive youth numbers with envy. We've been sitting on a demographic dividend, the size of which no other nation has had before. The textbook definition of demographic dividend says a rise in working age population leads to higher incomes, higher consumption, investment, and thereby higher GDP growth. Instead, we saw tens of thousands of our youngsters turning arsonists in different parts of the country, from Bihar, UP, and Bengal to Odisha and Telangana. Just what would have lit these fires in our youth? At a time when they should be having fire in their bellies to advance in life, why would they set fire to trains, buses, and other public property? It has a lot to do with jobs, gender parity, and education. Number one, a jobs crisis. Easily the elephant in the room for India's youth is the employment crisis. An estimated 13 million youth join the workforce in India every year, which normally should be a fantastic demographic dividend. But when there are no jobs for them, it can easily become a social and economic disaster. India's working age population, meaning those between 15 and 64 years, is estimated at 925 million. But the economic survey says only 518 million of them are active in the labor force. Many of those missing few hundred million have even given up looking for jobs. Pointers to the acute job crisis in India has been evident for some time. Sometime back, when the Indian Railways advertised for a mere 35,281 jobs, there were more than 12.5 million applicants. Adding to the job crisis is the unique Indian craze for government jobs, which offer permanency, pensions, no performance targets, and normally no sacking even for corruption. Unfortunately for Indian youth, the government cannot go on hiring more people to add to the already bloated bureaucracy. In fact, one unsaid aspect of hiring 46,000 odd young Agniveers on a 4-year contract basis is the fact that it will help ease the budgetary pressures on defense spending. Salaries and pensions take away a major chunk of India's defense allocation. In the current financial year, 1.19 trillion rupees has been budgeted for pensions and 1.63 trillion rupees for salaries. Together, they account for 54% of India's defense allocation. Where then are the funds for modernization of the forces? India's youth may not have realized this, but after the COVID pandemic, there is an unemployment epidemic. Number two, gender disparity. If you watch the visuals of the violence in Patna, Balia, or Secunderabad, you would not have missed the gender disparity. 100% male. To have an unemployed male surplus is a societal threat, and we just witnessed what could happen. Gender inequality in employment in India is so stark that we come in near the very bottom of the global ranking in female labor force participation. Among 180 countries, we come in at a poor 171st rank with a female labor participation of only 19%, just above Djibouti, Syria, and Algeria, and far below New Zealand, China, Germany, and the US, and even well below Saudi Arabia. We were delighted recently to see 3 women take the top 3 ranks in the civil service examination. But that is not truly representative of the general female labor participation in India. We have the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao slogan, But the fact is that on the global gender gap index, we come in at 140th rank out of 156 nations. Number 3, woeful education. No nation sitting on such a demographic dividend will fritter it away with woefully inadequate education like we do, imparting precious little academic excellence or even basic discipline. To make things worse, we have very liberal valuation systems in which everybody gets very high marks, and a PhD in India may soon become as common as a college degree was a few decades ago. We keep on harping about outcome-based education and yet fail to see such stark outcomes as all our rivers filling up with wastes. Of course, it's never too late to turn things around. We still have the largest number of youth in the world. They have fire in their bellies, but they need to light the right kind of fires to take the nation forward. Slogans won't help them. Good politics and good economics will. This video salutes Kerala expatriate Elizabeth Joseph, who was married at the age of only 18 years, had 2 children, and then had to work in Oman and Qatar for 31 years to support her family, often enduring torture and having to go hungry. Hers is the story of thousands of such expatriates whose lives are far from the glittering image one has of NRIs. After 31 years of hard work abroad, she hasn't been able to keep aside enough money to renovate the old house where her mother stays. This week at the Loka Kerala Sabha, Kerala's top leaders were at hand to listen as she threw light on the other side of Kerala's remittance story.